legendary public figure or warrior. So firstly, I will present about introduction. So firstly, I will tell you about introduction of web archiving. Web archive, on the other hand, store the whole content of web page, including the raw HTML, embedded pictures, style sheet, and JavaScript code. After seeing the page, the user can interact with it by clicking on link to learn more about the web page to which it was connected. So then I will tell you about a background of Dr. Mahathir. The background is the grand old man of Malaysian politics. Nogarian is still active and continues to serve the nation. Perhaps the most well-known face of Malaysia, having been in Prime Minister for a cumulative grand total of 24 years. Mahathir Mohamad is a once in a generation phenomenon. This record breaking feat sees him as being the country's longest serving Prime Minister, where he held office as the country 4th PM from July 1981 to October 2003, and a second stint as the 7th PM from May 2018 to March 2020, mark him as being the country and the world oldest primer as well. So for the second is a workflow of the web archiving. How we select the web archiving. First, we will select the website recommendation from the website address. So then after we have select the website, we create primary metadata creation, then analysis, seed list, schedule, robot contributor, harvest, indexing. When seed list, we screenshot how they get a metadata from that. So then after analysis, we have a robot configuration, then harvest, indexing. This is a work of a selective web archiving. So next, I will tell you about potential repository plan for our group project. So we choose database system. Why we choose database system? Database system can store the huge volume of web page, web text, multimedia content, not only of original file, but also keyword, creation date, frequency of updating, number of hyperlink, and many other attributes. So we make a table with various attributes such as URL, keyword, date, connection of hyperlink, type of HTTP server, IP address, and various control or management table for operating a chief system.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Adnan, and I'm going to continue the presentation with my part, which is significance of selection and the methodology. First, we go through with the web archive repository comparisons. So basically, the archive is the process of transferring digital data into a repository for storage, preservation, and access, while web archiving is the process of collecting specific parts of web pages, so that they can be used in the future even if the site is unavailable. So in this project, the online archive web repository that we use is httrack and Conifer. As for httrack, this web archiving software is an easy to use offline browser utility. It allows you to download a website from the internet to a local directory, recursively creating all directories and downloading HTML, images, and other files from the server to your computer. So some of the benefits of using httrack is reduced cost modem connection, less difficulty for data mining, surfing without internet, minimum space for installation and safe to use. So next one is Hafifah. It is a free web archiving service that allows you to make high fidelity interactive recordings and contextual archives of any website you visit. So some of the benefits of using Hafifah are: it is a user-driven platform, can share own weight material collections, performing complex actions on website, minimum space for installation, and high fidelity web archiving. Next page is about web archive repository project advantages. So first one is can preserve Tun Dr. Mahathir's content for future use. It's like keeping and storing valuable content about Tun Mahathir will be very useful in the future, especially for researchers and students who are looking for this information. Second one is gather some useful information about Tun Dr. Mahathir, where there might be some people are unaware of his achievements in governing Malaysia. That is why it is very critical to saving all valuable information about this figure, because people may need information about him later on. And the last advantages is to make it easier for users to find information about Tun Dr. Mahathir. We're moving to the next one, which is objectives of this web archiving project. First one is to create a web archiving database repository that adheres to the descriptive metadata standard, with the goal of making Malaysia's political figures public. Next, to identify the lack of metadata elements for knowledge discovery on Tun Mahathir web archiving repository. And lastly, the objective to provide electronic access to information publications and other academic material for future use. Next is the methodology, storage and web archive content organization. So the first figure here, as you can see, is the tables of database design in ERD diagram. To summarize the figures with the previous one, it is a logical view design ERD of Malaysian public figure Tun Dr. Mahathir web archive repository that consists 6 tables, which are archive website, figure, user, registration, archive, and content. So each of the table have their own attribute, key, metadata, and function.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To my name Mazwani Binti Mazlan. So my name is Ashaffiah Binti Shahrun. And next, I'm going to continue presenting about the next part of our web archiving project, which is about the implementation. So first of all, I would like to introduce the website infrastructure and platform identification that we use in order to complete our seed list. So we use two, which is the first one is built with, and the second one is XML sitemap, which both of them are a preferred website profiler. Built with and XML sitemap is actually a file that have a list of website important content of pages and making sure that Google can find them and crawl all of them. So the data that we collect from Binti is website content management system, operating system and server, and also the SSL certificate. And the data that we collect from the XML sitemap is website processing time, number of index, and also the content size. Next, from the seed list that we have been created and collected here, all of the metadata applied versus property description and tables and fields property have been presented in this report. As you can see in here, the web archiving tools, the preferred one that we use in our group project are HTTrack and Hafifah. So HTTrack is actually a free and open source web crawler and offline browser. Meanwhile, Hafifah is a web archiving service that creates an interactive copy of any website and any web page that we browse. So the metadata that we collect from both of these are duration for crawling website, which is HTTrack taking more time compared to the Hafifah, and the style of file archive, and lastly the number of file archive. In this project, we have used the Hafifah to manage our Word file. So we learn how to access them, how to download them, and also how to upload them in the Hafifah apps. Let me show you the simple step how to use the HTTP track and Conifer as the web archiving tool. First of all, for HTTP track, first we need to open the apps and then we click on the next button. After that, we need to fill in the existing content, which let's say I would like to put number 1 as the first content of my collection. Then just follow like the picture here, which is we need to fill in the website URL and then we click on the view page source after it taking some time to crawl that website. Ta-da! So this is the metadata that we need from HTTP track. So as you can see in here, there are 3 of them. The first one is the duration, the second one is the number of file, and the third one is the size of this website. Following that, to use Conifer as web archiving tool, the first step that we need to do is to log in with our own account. After that, we need to fill in all of the data, all of the description that required. There are some of them are required and some of them are optional. After filling all of the data needed, we need to click on the start capture. After that, we need to click on the triple button, just like the page that I have attached here, and then we can choose any activity that we want to do and this Conifer, such as to download the collection to get the work file and then upload the work file to our collection, and even to manage session to see the collection section management page. As a result, there are 3 different types of metadata that we have been collected in this project, which is the first one is descriptive metadata. It describes resources for discovery and identification on purposes. It may consist of elements for a document such as titles, authors, abstract, and keywords. The second one is technical metadata that can be created automatically at the time when we crawl the website, such as the file format, date and time of capture, the file size, the target URI, what record ID, what record type, and the software used, and many more. And the last one, the third one, is the preservation metadata, which is it could be anything that include any contextual information required to provide sustainability of access to the content. In addition to the technical requirements, this might include information required to authentication to the content of the website that we use. Next, for the acts govern the web archive process and its content and affected parties in Malaysia. So the National Archive 2003, this is the main act for all of that for archives, that from its created until its disposal process. So this act is actually applied on every part of Peninsular Malaysia and the Federal Territories of Kuala Lumpur, Labuan and Putrajaya, and also Sabah and Sarawak. Then, every publicly published website content will be made available to the researchers, academicians, and web archivists. It also include record officially received or produced by any public office for the conduct of its affair, or by any public officer or employee of a public office in the course of these official duties. It also includes record of any government enterprise, and also all record in the custody of under the control of the National Archive of Malaysia. It's established under the National Archive Act 1966 under the Act 511. Okay, then for the analysis of risk management and quality assurance. So, the idea of quality in online archive was first examined in depth by Mazwani in 2006 in his book of web archiving. According to him, the quality can be defined by these 2 characteristics. So the first one is the completeness of the material. We can see it in the link files archived within a target perimeter. Then the second one is the ability to render the original form of the site, particularly regarding navigation and interaction with the user. So web archive entries are usually quality check. I think this method compares a resource value to a need. So the quality control, analysis, review, and the evaluation are others named for this process. Website also must meet the quality criteria to be included in the digital repository. Static, dynamic, and interactive website have the same quality standards.
So for the conclusion of how we doing the group project of web archiving of Tun Dr. Mahathir. So the conclusion is, as technology advance and material is increased published completely online, more organization of all kind will be required to achieve digital content. As a result, web archive will save the complete content of web page, including underlying HTML, as well as any embedded picture, style sheet, or JavaScript code. So during the viewing, the user can engage with the achieved page by clicking link to learn more about the web page. Furthermore, independent archival groups such as Internet Archive build and retain public online archive. So we believe that the information of this publicly accessible web archive will not be interfered with or illegally modified. So lastly, when we doing our group project, we have many limitations from doing the seed list, selection, and other. So the limitation is web crawlers are usually unable to collect live stream, deep web, or database material that need data from user due to the technology restoration. Interactive component depending on programming script as well as content that need plug-in for presentation are challenging to preserve with current online archiving technique. So embedded material is usually automatically included in crawl. It also has a limitation and required authorization to crawl the page in certain archive portion may be available offline. Any attempt is made to collect website related items such as HTML, photo, PDF document, audio, and video file. So that's all from us. Thank you.